Hey guys, so we are a little late this week. Normally I would start making Masterplan videos on Monday, but it's a very busy week. We're making a nitrogen plan, showing it to the municipality that we're looking at, so it took some extra time. I'm sorry guys, but yeah, it's how it works. I want to be transparent to you. With that, I have sleepless nights, the bags under my eyes are too big. Darling wakes me up at like 12 every day at the moment. It's not good, but no more pity party for me. Let's get back to South America. Because South America, we have two parts. We have two parts for this. One being the tropics. It's going to be more like the species that live in tropical areas. Think macaws, Amazonia parrots, mostly parrots. I really love parrots. But also like capybara, tapirs, maybe something else. We shall see what we do in these videos. Trying to put them all in between Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So it might be double episodes every day. You guys seem to love these. So you guys seem to love concrete as well. So I don't know what your taste is, okay? And the other one is Patagonia, and that's the one we're going into today. Patagonia is very important to us because it's one of the few places that has like almost an equal like climate as here. So that means we don't need heating for the inside enclosures. That's how I'm thinking right now. So that's what we're going over in a second. So first off, we're going over the boring things. Well, boring. You guys seem to love all of these animals, so I don't care that much. The first animals we're going over is the grazing habitat that we want to have. And all the grazing habitats we have are made on the principle of that different species graze in different patterns, and for that reason could be together because they don't eat the exact same thing. Of course, we will feed them other stuff as well, like timothy hay, bricks, whatever is needed. But that grazing that will be done throughout the spring and summer, a bit of fall, and maybe in the winter they get more feed and less of the grasses, because the grasses are also not growing in winter, of course. So the species we have for this are like a special combination that all graze in different patterns. We have guanacos. Guanacos are kind of a llama species. They are one of the few wild species. They can be very territorial, so we will have a special configuration of like males to females, because the males could be very aggressive. So if we go for something, it's going to be for the people that don't know, this stands for male, this stands for female, and this stands for unsexed, so young. If you don't know for sure, this is what we go for. Like one male maximum, 5 females, and the calves, we don't know how many. Maybe none, maybe like 4 of them after a couple of years. But like this configuration. Another thing we want with that is Darwin's rhei. Just put down the D because it's easier. Same configuration as this, because the males will breed with several females which will all lay eggs in one nest, and the male will take care of them and scare the females away. So we don't want many males because they will just shoo off all the females. Yes, this will be a larger enclosure, we will do something fun with that, but for that reason we want to keep this like a standard configuration for these animals. So these are 2 animals we want in there, and the other one, and this doesn't matter. For maras, it doesn't matter. Maras or Patagonia cavi, or how you want to call them, are a type of rodent. But if you see them, I will just show the picture right here. If you see them, some people say they look like hair software on deer hardware. If you look at their legs, they are very weird, but they are lovely animals. They are a bit skittish, so we would like a group of them, have some rocks in the enclosure so they can sit on them, and some open spaces that they can lay and see all of the stuff happening, and that might be something very nice to do for them. So these are the three animals we want in this enclosure. Yes, we could go for like deer species, but deers are skittish as well. So with these 2, that doesn't work that well. Or you need a very big enclosure that they can get away in if needed. And that's something we can manage with this piece of land that we're looking at right now, but maybe not in general. So that's why just 3 species. And how will we design this? I'm going to show you right now. So welcome back to Louis Bob rossing a whole enclosure in like a minute or 2. What we want to do with species like this is make a C-shaped or a kidney-shaped enclosure. So for example, you have a pathway going like this. And it's just going to be ground level, no elevated path in this case. And what we will do is we will put like a body of water right here. We can make it go like this. So you have some trees in here, happy little trees. And then the rest of the enclosure, this is not visible to the public. So you go like this. I'm trying, guys. Let me turn that a little bit for you. There. So you have something like this. And the rest here is just gonna be the enclosure. So they have like a watering hole where the animals can come together and be all peaceful and happy, like you always see in the movies. I'm just gonna put something. So what we're gonna do is have like a watering hole because it's all peaceful and nice there. At least that's what people say always. We will have the green marker because it's easier. This here will be reeds, give some privacy, and we'll put some reeds right here. So you can see the animals from, just gonna put markers right here, that's easier. You can see the animals through here, easy, this way, and you can see all of this area here as well. That's what we want to do. It's not really visible, but I use the red pen, okay? But yeah, that's how we want to do this enclosure. Make it like you flow into the America section. Up here would be more America. Down here, something else. So we might have an overlapping area there. We might have something else there. We could put like an aviary right here. If you put an aviary right there, you keep some space in between. We could put something in there. There's a lot of bird species there as well. You could put ducks in there, whatever. But we want this configuration. Keep it a little bit easier here. This side we keep it calmer. And right here we have that big enclosure. So that's how we want to do it in general. So yeah, that's for just the grazer species. The guanaco, the mara and the Darwin rhea. So these are all the animals we want in there. That's all for today, folks. See ya. Hey guys, so last episode we talked about the first part for South America, and this is a species we want to get in there as well. And it's because a lot of people kept asking, are you gonna have foxes? Will you have foxes? Have you thought about foxes? Yes, I've thought about foxes. No, it's not gonna be red foxes. I know the people that asked for fox species asked for the red fox. The reason is it's a native species. You need extra paperwork for that, all kinds of stuff. So we're not gonna do that. What we're gonna do is have the South American grey fox. For all the English speaking people and the people from Ireland, yes, I wrote it with an E, okay? I know, that's because it's America in this case. Otherwise, you write it with an A. If people want to fight me for it, there's a parking lot next to the McDonald's. You can find me there at 2 a.m. But yeah, what we want to do with these foxes, they are lovely. They are a little bit smaller, grayish. They have some red in their coat, a little bit of like white here. They are beautiful. We want to have those species. Of course, we don't know for sure if we can get them, but there's something always we can find. Like there's always a solution. If we can't find that one, we might get another fox. If we can't get that one, we might find another fox. We will do something. But foxes are in the plan, but not the red fox. And it will never be. So what we want to do with this species, we want to have a nice little enclosure. And we want to make it so that people can see them from different sides. I'm going to draw something special today. I'm going to draw front view. So what we want to have is like a glass or plexiglass pane. The reason I said glass or plexiglass is because Glass is sturdier and doesn't scratch that much, but needs to be cleaned for greasy fingers and all that kind of stuff. Plexiglass is also way sturdier, but it scratches a lot. So if that fox scratches at the inside, you won't see shit. And you need to like get a new pane in there. They are cheaper though. What we want to do, yeah, some beams at the outside, you don't see anything through here. But what we want to do is, this is above like 15 centimeters from the floor. And we want to have some rocks right here. Maybe some rocks here. And then we're gonna have some trees and bushes. I don't know what to like shape this in general. Most of the enclosures I make, they are like top view, easier to see what you want to do in there. But you never know how the piece of land looks, how the ground is underneath. Do you need to dig out, or do you just build around that part that you need to dig out? That's the kind of stuff why I make like very broad shapes and not like very detailed. At the other side, right back here, we're gonna have some. And we're gonna have some like grasses down there, some bushes in the back, and then we have some trees up here. I'm gonna make it a little bit scraggly because you're in Patagonia. That means that it is more deciduous in like climate, but it's very grassland, and that's something we wanna really emphasize in here. That you have no like real forest. These foxes live in like grasslands with like shrubbery and bushes and lots of rocks. You have like places they can hide in between. That's the kind of stuff we want to show in here. That's what we want to do. So this is like you stand in front of it and you see like almost a picture. And that's something we want to do. Have those happy little trees in between, have those big rocks and some grasses they can hide in. An animal needs to be visible for people, but doesn't have to be visible 100% of the time. And that's what we want to like really empathize in here. That this kind of like picture frame almost is what we want for most of the enclosures. Yeah, we can put some water in there as well, like right here. We put some water. I don't have my blue marker, okay, so it's red this time. But yeah, that's something we can do right here, and that's something we really want to show. So this is what the gray fox enclosure would probably look like, and it's kind of the same with other species as well. So yeah, that's all for today, guys. See ya. Well, guys, we left Patagonia now. We're going to the other side, another place in South America, and we're gonna have two big things in there. And one of them is yet again grazers. So what we want to do with grazers in this case, we want to have a marsh boardwalk, and everybody seemed to love that idea when I gave it during, I think it was a live stream. What we want to have is a boardwalk through a very moist part of the Amazonia rainforest with two animals at one side, and especially for someone else at the other side, a carnivore. So what we want to have is, let's say here the boardwalk begins. It's going to be very easy, this one, because I am tired. We could put several enclosures in here. This is the boardwalk, okay guys, hang on. And at this side, we want one enclosure, and in here we will have capybara. Plus another species, and that species is a tapir. We want the South American tapir together with the capybara. And how we want to do it is, I'm gonna put my red pen to use again, is have all kinds of water here. Like that's the general part with water, but to make it a little bit less boring, we put some water here and a little puddle here. That way you have that very humid, almost marsh idea with like the bodies of water, and you walk around in it, and you have some trees in here and some trees in here, and you have a lot of grass because capybara love grasses. At the other side we want one species, and it's not going to take the whole boardwalk because we will have an inside enclosure and you can look into it. But at this side, I'm going to put the inside enclosure right here, make it like this. You walk through the whole, this box is the inside enclosure. Let's put it like this. This is inside, this is keeper. Alright. And right here, we have other species, other species that really loves the wet parts of the Amazon rainforest. And the reason I can go wild with these drawings is for one reason. This is way too expensive to do in the first years. This is going to be something like in 20 years time we start realizing this and making this, and in that time everything will change in between. So capybara at one side, and at this side we will have that same body of water going through and maybe even outside. I don't know how we can do this, but at the time that we get to that point we can probably manage something. In here, and this is especially for, I think your name is Planet Zoo Player on here. I follow you because you had very interesting enclosures surrounding like the for us beginner animals, foxes, Asian smoke-clawed otter, all that kind of stuff. Really like them. So that's why I follow you. And you asked, will you have otters? In here, giant otter. I will show a picture up here. This is what you get when you let someone design an otter and you never show him one, but he draws horror. There is another kind of otter, and that's designed the same size, designed by a Hello Kitty artist. That's the sea otter. We don't get sea otters. If we get otters, it's one species, or it's gonna be like the American, or the small clawed, or the giant. One of three. Not all three, not two. One. And we want them both there. Underneath here we want to have like concrete and stuff. You guys love that, huh? But just to be sure that the otters don't go to the other side. In general, they don't try to eat capybara, but better safe than sorry. That's very simple why we want to do stuff the way we do it. In here, not like this kind of body of water, just like in here in general, we have this part and the otters can go all over the place there. For otters, I want to go a little bit more in depth on this. Otters need a lot of stimulation. I worked with the Asian smoke-clawed otter, and they really need like different kinds of terrain to feel around. If you see them in the zoo, you will probably see them playing with a piece of rock like this, going around. They need grasses, tiny shrubbery, rocks, sand, water of course, all that kind of stuff to just feel around, to rummage around. So that's the reason we want it like this. We want to have that zookeeper sluice in there, and from here on out the zookeepers can go into the enclosure, or they can go into the inside enclosure. But this part is very important that that's locked up. That's all. I'm going to be very, very simple with this enclosure, or well, simple. It's very simply drawn for one reason. We can't do it right now. It's not going to be in the first 5 years. If it is, that's because we got a load of money, and I don't have a load of money. So for that reason, we have it like this. Just so you know. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys, because I'm rambling on for 6 minutes right now. See ya. Alright guys, it's time. We're gonna do this. There's one kind of big part of South America we want to build in there, and it's all because of Harry. It's your fault again. Harry had a lot of things that he wanted to see in zoos, and when I was like, you can submit your kinds of ideas for the master plan, Harry came with a lot of it, and for South America that was a big part. What we want to do with South America is have two things combined: a huge aviary, and we want to have a South America house. And the reason for that is because some species really need their heat, some species are nocturnal, and we want to have a lot of parrots. What can I say? I like parrots. Can't have them right now because Darling says no. They are too loud. And I get that. They won't be next to the house for that reason. But what we want to do with South America is two things. We want to have an aviary. I will draw that first. And next video we will go into the South America house. What do we want in there, how we want to do it, which species, all that kind of stuff. For South America aviary, we want at least 2 species. Some species of macaw and some species of Amazonia parrot, like the beautiful green ones. And it doesn't matter that much which one it is. We are looking at working together with like big institutions that save parrots and see if we can get them from there. So they have space to like rescue new parrots and we have an animal to show with a story. And that's the reason we want to do it this way. This is also not going to be one of the first enclosures. I will show you some pictures of like inspiration I saw, like, oh yeah, that's amazing. But this is something I saw myself. And it's going to be like this. I'm going to do like try to do a 3D, okay? Bear with me. Support. And we go back. I'm trying my best, guys. So what I saw in my mind is like a big mesh aviary. You can't go inside for one reason and one reason only. Parrots are dangerous. And if a kid comes too close to a macaw, it will lose its fingers if it feels like it. That's the reason. Animal safety and people safety. Mostly the animals, because we saw it with the gibbon lately. There's a reason we need to be very careful with our animals. Also, yet again, my condolences to Awans for that. But we want to have a big aviary, make some trees in there and all kinds of stuff. You can walk around here and then go around the corner right there and have like a beautiful view of 2 sides of the aviary. See the macaws flying in there, play around, have some enrichment for them, have a lot of flight area for them, make it high. I think we could go like, building range is 15 meters here in the Netherlands, unless you have like special paperwork that shows that you can go higher. But I think the average is 10 to 15 meters. That's how high you can go. So that's the reason we want to have it like probably go, this is 10 meters, this is 12 meters. So they get a lot of area to fly in. I'm not sure. If we can get like bigger, we can do that. If we need to dig a bit down, we can do that as well. Doesn't matter to me, as long as we can get enough space for these animals. And that's important. But what kind of parrots are we looking at for macaws? It doesn't matter that much. Same goes for Amazonians, as long as it's the same species. That's the most important thing for me, so we don't have hybridization. If they breed, that we have the same species. Many foundations are against breeding like pets and stuff, because you never know what's underlying and in kind of inbreeding kind of problems, and that's reason we don't like try to breed all the species. But this is like a great species to show like how are people miskeeping them or not keeping them very good. I've seen parrots, and I've worked with one Amazonia parrot when I was in the private collection. That parrot hadn't seen sunlight in 30 years, and the first like sunrise it saw, it panicked because it didn't know what was happening. We want to show that kind of stuff, like, hey, these parrots come from not the best areas. These parrots have had a history. Like, for example, this one is 30 years old. It only has been fed peanuts because that's what that lady thought was good for them. This is what parrots eat, and show them like all the kinds of foods we give the parrots in like a big sign or something. And with macaws, like, this is how intelligent they are, and have maybe like a sign showing like this is the kind of puzzles they can solve. Can you solve them as well? That kind of stuff. I think that's a very nice way to show, hey, this is what you can do, and this is what it means to have a parrot. This is what you need to think about. There's a lot of people on here that show really, really interesting educational videos on parrots. I really recommend looking into them because there's a lot of like information about it. I follow them as well, just to be sure that what I do is up to their standards and maybe a bit above. And the reason I want to go above is so that if the RVO or any other kind of institution is like you're mismanaging them, that I can show we are going 10% over. What do you want me to change? That's the kind of stuff with this aviary. But next video we go into the South America house. See ya. Swell fellas, we are going further with the South America house. So what I drew here is the aviary that we talked about last episode. And the reason I wanted to show you that right here is because it's something that's like built into it. And the reason for that is these are species that are very, very prone to colds, so you need to have like an inside enclosure that's heated. That's why this is like way further down the line, because we need the inside enclosures. We need to be heated, and yeah, you can do something with like green energy and stuff, but we need to be sure that we're not like going way ahead with our plans before we can even manage it. We need to be realistic with that. So what we have here is the aviary, and onto that aviary we have an inside enclosure. Wow! And right here we have a smaller one. These two are connected. We want to make one inside enclosure that is way bigger and one with a smaller opening, so that if we have smaller parrot species, they can get away as well. So they don't have to be together. That if one feels bullied, they can go into another room. Both of these will be like insulated, will be heated for that reason. But we want to give them the privacy from each other as well. These are two important parts for that, just so you guys know. Then we want to have something right here. We have the pathway, and right here we want to have a big aquarium. And what kind of species do we want in there? Well, we can do a lot with it. The reason I say I don't talk too much about aquaria is very simple. They are very expensive. If you look at the filtration, the water changes you should have to do, all that kind of stuff, it really adds up. And for that reason, we're not just starting with that. But what kind of aquarium would this be? Fresh water. All the species you can find in your pet store would be in there, with one reason only. A lot of people keep them with plastic plants, I saw, or miskeep them or anything like that. And we want to do something with that. Or keep like a species that's this big but gets this big. Why would you do that? We could have an Arapaima in there maybe. If it's big enough, we could have one in there. They are huge, they are beautiful, but they need extra care. They need to be kept in a proper way. And we want to keep them natural, not with like bare bottom plastic plants and some filtration things. No, we're talking about driftwood, a lot of plants, maybe some small tetras with it. If we don't get an Arapaima, maybe some angelfish, some corridoras, some plecos, all kinds of stuff together, just to show, hey, this is the Amazon. At this side, we want to have two enclosures, and yes, I saw a lot of zoos that have them free roaming through a hall like this. We're not going to do that with one simple reason. We want to have is one of the species that I am considering. Sloth. If we get a sloth, I'm not sure, but we could get them in there. I don't want them free roaming. The reason is sloths are very strong and I don't trust people anymore. I don't say my followers discouraged me, but a lot of people discouraged me lately. So yeah, for that reason, no free roaming sloth or anything like that. What we will have is like pieces of like greenery in here. Not make it a full greenhouse, but have like parts with greenery around here, like a sunroof or something, so you have that UVB coming in as well. Also good for the plants. Right here some plants, maybe we have some plants here, all kinds of stuff. That makes it more alive. Right here we have another species. Anteaters. We can get anteaters. And I'm gonna be very original and say armadillo. There's two species, or well, three species I've been really looking at. The 3-band or the 6-band armadillo, they are beautiful, small species, can go together with like the small anteater. That's the one we go for, the tamandua, showing up there. But armadillos, I've talked about them before. Yes, there is a giant armadillo, but there's like one zoo that has one and it's like a rescue. So yeah, might not get that one, go for a smaller species. or might, won't get that one. But for those animals, because they are a little bit more hardy, we want to have an outside enclosure, because this is still all that same hull. And they will get an outside enclosure. I will just turn it around a little bit. Outside. We will have, like, because the anteaters are more arboreal, we will have a high entrance for the enclosure and a low one for the armadillos, because otherwise it's sad. Armadillos can't climb that much. And that way they can also like go along each other. You don't have to fight to go through the door. Out here we have the outside area, and right here we want to have maybe like a couple of terraria or something. Have like an entrance here so people can get in, and all this could be different kinds of terraria with species. We could have like garden boas, we could have gecko species, iguanas is one of the species we could talk about, because I've seen a lot of illegal pet trade iguanas come in from America, where in the United States they are invasive and people just try to smuggle them in here because here you can get money for them. Down there, nobody cares. Panther chameleons, because they are an invasive species there in some parts. Turtle species, because everybody loves turtles apparently. Other kinds of snakes, get an anaconda in there, but not too many of the same kind of reptile, because if you see one snake, it's oh cool, a snake. Second one, oh cool, another snake, and then it's yet another snake. Does he have anything else than a snake? But right here, this is the entrance area, and right here we have an entrance, and right here we have an entrance. That way you have two entrances here, you can walk around in here, go outside at the other side. Down there we could have other animals, maned wolves for example. I'm not making too many videos on this because next week we talk about Polynesia and everybody wanted to hear me talk about that. And then we have 2 weeks of Australia, then we go into education and activities, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the South America house, what we want to do with it, it's going to be late in the plans. I'm just going to be honest. It's going to be very late in the plans before we start on this. And the reason for that is because it costs a lot of money to make something this big and heated. What can I say? It's just, I want to be honest with you guys. That's what we want to do. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. I'm sorry for rambling for 8 minutes. See ya. So we need to talk. I made a whole video. You can see the whole thing I made here. I made a whole video. It was 20 minutes long before editing. 20 minutes. And I couldn't get it smaller than 13. I'm not allowed to upload it on the TikToky. So yeah, we're going really quick over this, and I will upload the full video with everything on it on YouTube for you guys to see. And I can go more in depth on it if you want in more videos the coming week, because this week we're going to talk about Polynesia, how we're going to work with inside enclosures, all that kind of stuff. So let's go over this for a second, because I made a whole video. I had jokes in there, I had editing prompts in there, I had everything ready. It was 17 minutes or something when I was done with editing, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna cut everything that I am drawing and I will speed it up 3 times. It gave me like 3 minutes. I need to work on this. Anyway, very short. Last week we talked about all kinds of stuff with South America, and we wanted to do something with an aviary and inside enclosures and South America house. And when I uploaded the last video, I got a lot of feedback, and I saw a video by an influencer about a flooded forest that's in a museum in Barcelona, and I loved it. I wanted to implement that, and I was thinking like, yeah, but we also have that marsh area, maybe we can do something with that. So what we did, and I'm gonna get you a little bit closer, come here you goobers. So what we did was we designed this. This took me 20 minutes and a little bit of brain power at 4 AM this morning. But this is what we made. So some things are still the same as what we did in the last few videos. I'm gonna talk at this side because it's easier to point at everything. So we still have the aviary with like the bigger parrot species, the macaws, the Amazonia parrots, all that kind of stuff. We still have an enclosure here. Instead of aquaria, we put sloth in there. The reason for that is we want to keep them a bit separate and all that kind of stuff. I'm going very fast over this because I don't want to edit like 20 more minutes of video and then have it turn out that I can't upload it on TikTok, okay? Okay. So sloth, macaws, the inside enclosures. Here's gonna be a tank. I didn't put the T in there, but no, that's the wrong one. T. There's gonna be a terrarium here. There's gonna be one here and a bigger one here. Those are the big tanks. Okay? Okay. Then we have AA. AA stands for anteaters in this case. And the anteaters and the armadillos together. So they have separate inside enclosures if they need be. And they have a big outside enclosure because armadillos are more active in the early morning and the evening. So they have an inside enclosure to rest up. And the anteaters, they go out whenever they want. When there's food, they go out. I know that Maestro was asking like, hey, how are you going to do that? Because they have like different like active schedules. That's right. And we try to work with that. This down here, I had a whole spiel about this. And I hope she sees it. I follow someone named Amphibian Rescue or Reptile Rescue Center. I'm so sorry, I forgot. But they work with axolotls, and I've been listening to their live streams whenever I'm at work. Most of the times when I'm at work, they are live streaming, and I just listen to it in the background while I clean up everything. I want axolotls in there, thanks to her. They are lovely animals, they need protection, they need to be, like, people need to be educated about them. It's going to be very simple. We need to educate people about axolotls. They are endangered, guys. So we have all the small ones here covered now, okay? So we have the big one with the macaws, and then we have another big one, and that's right here, and that is the flooded forest. And there's a lot of little markings down there. And the reason I have those markings is because I want to make it look like the enclosure they have in that museum. They have like a flooded forest, so there's like trees in the water. It's a huge tank and the animals can just swim around in it. They have like glass at the sides, or it's kind of plastic, but it lets UVB through, so it's very important that we use that for it. But they have arapaimas in there, all kinds of big animals, and there's a lot of signs up here. There's a T. That T stands for tamarins. It was Tuan that said, hey, how about small New World monkeys? They are in there now. That's the Communitas part of, or the community part of Communitas Zoological Group. You guys tell me, I see what, I go and brainstorm about it, we see if it's possible. Arapaima, not sure about that one, because it's a carnivorous fish, don't want my monkeys to be eaten. B, for birds, same problem with the Arapaima, they eat birds as well. So we want to be sure that we have like a configuration of animals that works. Okay? Okay. And then we have more fish. We can do like smaller fish as well. Instead of arapaimas, use smaller fish. Like 1,000 neon tetras, for example. That might be something fun. That's for this. So we have a whole hall. All the green here, like there, and there. That's like inside foliage we want to use. Like greenery, like plants, to give you the feeling of it being in nature. But then you think, Louis, what the hell is this? Well, this is where we want to add on extra stuff. So we have this whole thing, and this was kind of the same, but outside we want to use the boardwalk we talked about with the marshland and the tapirs and the capybara and the otters, and connect it to this. So you go from the boardwalk towards this place. Then you have the capybaras at that side, the otters at that side. We use a Y junction, so that one. So here's the otters. Down there, bush dogs. I'm going very fast. I drink like Red Bulls before this just to be faster. And I'm 6 minutes in, okay? Boardwalk. Boardwalk around here. You can see the macaws outside. All fun and games. A little bit of greenery to keep your distance, otherwise you lose your fingers. I don't trust like the general zoo goer anymore. And then at this side, outside enclosure for the anteaters. Boardwalk stops here, goes to concrete path. You guys love concrete way too much. I've seen the views. That's not okay compared to the other Masterplan videos. So we have that here. And then there we go with the pathway further, and you go into the rest of the park again. You see all those blue crosses? This is especially for one person. Hi Sherelle, this one is for you. All those blue crosses is where I want to put benches. Get over here. You see that? I counted them. It's more than 10 benches. We want to put benches every 100 meter at least, so people can rest up every 100 meter they walk. And that's for handicapped people mostly. But every 100 meter you have a place to rest up. That's what I took 20 minutes to make, and I did it now in 7 minutes without a drawing. I need to work on this. That's all for today, guys. See ya.